Talk. Talk.
And I don't know if you can understand me.
Before my daughter was diagnosed at around age 4, I completely misunderstood her. Selective mutism is a social anxiety disorder where a child is able to vocalize normally. However, when the child's anxiety is too high, their vocal cords constrict and they are not able to talk. The most common reaction we get is that this child is super shy. This child is shy, but it's a different level. This child actually cannot speak. After the person asks a question, there's no answer. They will answer for her, or they will change the topic. This will reinforce the cycle. Question is asked, adult rescues, everyone feels comfortable. The cycle happens again and again, and this child becomes the child who is skipped over, the child who is not asked the question, the child who doesn't talk. I definitely fell into this group up until she was diagnosed. People would ask her a question and she wouldn't respond to them. After the pause, I would tell whoever was asking her, she's SHY, because I didn't want to label her at that young age, but I also knew we couldn't just hang there and never answer the person. The second group of people are those who think Madison is being willful. This is the hardest for me because I also relate. When Madison was young, she would have extreme tantrums. She would be very upset. However, she would not tell me what was wrong. I had no idea. And since she was at the age where I knew she could talk, it felt like she was not being fair to not tell me what it was so that I could help. It wasn't until I learned she had SM that I felt so bad. Later on, I learned from Madison. When her younger sister was very sad and crying, I asked Madison what she thought we should do to help. Madison said, "Mom, sometimes when people are crying, they don't know how to stop. So we should not tell them to stop, but instead sit with them and rub their hand." It broke my heart to realize that in those situations, due to her anxiety, she could not tell me. This happened a couple months ago at swim class. There was a substitute teacher who I was not able to prepare in time. I sent Madison in. She was very nervous and she froze at the side of the pool. When the teacher started asking her questions, Madison was not able to respond. I called in and said, "Do you need any help?" And the teacher responded, "Well, if you would stop interrupting, I think we could get going." Again, I noticed the body language of the teacher and Madison getting worse. I could see her frustration. I could understand. It broke my heart for both of them. The teacher needed to know, and I needed to help Madison. Once I explained to her Madison's condition and that decreasing the stress will actually make the situation better, it did get better. Some people think Madison can't hear. However, Madison is blessed with wonderful hearing. A fourth response we get is people think Madison's being rude or doesn't like them. This happened at the post office where a woman struck up a conversation and got zero response. The lady looked at me and said, "Your girl doesn't like me." Another time that happened was just a couple of weeks ago. The substitute teacher came up to me after school and said, "Your daughter does not like me." And chances are she really does like you. I can relate with this. There was one day when a little child ignored Madison, and I really felt bad about it. But chances are that child might have something else going on. Really, how are we to know? The final group of responses that I have seen is the person thinks that Madison just doesn't get it, which is totally the furthest thing from the truth. She is such a smart little girl. She has a great memory, she loves to learn about things, and she really does love to ask questions. After we'd done a lot of work on her SM and she'd made some huge strides and was pretty much talking to new people, I took her into the doctor's office, and the nurse there that day was one who didn't know or didn't understand, and she asked Madison what was wrong. Madison just looked at her and didn't say anything. The nurse asked again, "What's wrong? Why are you here today?" After no response, the nurse said, "Well, do you even know what's wrong?" That really affected Madison, and she went mute in public completely for 6 weeks. In addition to those people that just don't know about SM, there are also those on occasion where the person doesn't quite buy in. I used to teach school, and I had a couple kids like that who didn't talk. Their parents were not hard enough on them. SM is a real thing, and I've learned that through this 7 years of life with this child. I've learned it through watching patterns and seeing consistent things happening. This girl could not have been more excited to plan her 4th birthday party. She had everything planned out to the smallest detail of her Belle Princess all pink party. She invited her favoriteest friends to come, and it was just beautiful. However, as excited as she was to celebrate with her friends, she was not able to say a word during the party. This was really hard for her, to not even be able to say thank you. So after the party, we videotaped her talking to her friends and saying thank you to them in a video that we sent over. I saw situations where a child really should be vocalizing. One time Madison got hurt during gymnastics. She twisted her ankle, yet she was not able to cry. Once she got into the car, the tears came, and she told me and cried about how painful it was. When Madison got her vaccinations, she did not say a single word. The nurse told me, "I've never seen a child not cry like that for vaccinations." She did not make a peep, but when she got into the car, she was wailing. There have been countless instances where I know Madison wants to say something and where she's planned something to say, but the words won't come out. I can see the frustration and how it pains her sometimes, but she can do it, right? She can. For young children, SM is curable by changing environment, by behavioral intervention, and it's basically letting everybody know what it is and how to interact with the child. Once children get to be 9 and older, cognitive behavioral therapy is helpful, as well as medication can be. Once a child gets to be a bit older, the chances of cure are reduced to around 30%. I feel motivated to help her and other people who know young children with SM. I was able to go to the worldwide convention on SM, and I was really impressed by some young adults who spoke on their experiences. It broke my heart to hear about the amount of bullying that some of these children experienced when they could not respond or speak up for themselves. Children and teachers alike didn't understand them. Teachers telling them, "Do you even want to talk?" and several experiences where these children were punished for not speaking. It's time to help children with SM, but how do we do it? The first step is understanding what it is. 1 out of every 120 children has SM. We need to understand that these children can talk and they want to talk. They just need our help. Treat them like a person who can talk. Please listen to the next 2 tips. 1, learn how to fade in. Fading in means introducing one new person or place to the child at a time. Yes, it takes planning. Yes, it takes time. Does it work? Absolutely. When Madison started kindergarten, we did a classic fade-in that worked great. First, we introduced her to the new location. We spent time with Madison on the playground. Our next step of the fade-in was to introduce a new person, and that was her teacher. We spent our time again at this new familiar place, the playground, and we had her teacher fade in. So this is a gradual introduction where we had her teacher starting from far away, gradually coming closer, but busying herself on other things, maybe picking up some trash, checking her phone, and meanwhile, we're keeping a lively conversation with Madison and her siblings going strong. By the time that her teacher got close by, Madison's still talking and laughing and having fun. Not making a big deal about it, the teacher comes over and joins us. Whether you are fading in for the first time or you've known the child for some time, the child needs some warm-up time. Pretend like you are a narrator, not asking questions right away. Oh, I see that you've come in nice and early today, and I love those purple shoes you're wearing. I wonder what you're going to choose first for the day. I know that you love to help set up the chairs. So in this fade-in, maybe the teacher would start making comments about the day. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. What a great day to be at the park. I'm so glad that our playground equipment's getting good use. And then once we've had a nice little warm-up time, I script out for the teacher what she could ask Madison. I can say, Mrs. Teacher, would you like to ask Madison what her favorite playground equipment is? The slide, the seesaw, the swings, or something else? And then we had the teacher ask Madison that scripted question that she had some preparation time to think about. Once we became comfortable conversation partners, we moved this conversation into the new location, which was the classroom. So we were able to go there together and become a bit familiar with the routine of the class, anything that would be important for her to start thinking about and getting used to. The second key in interacting with an SM child is how to ask them questions. Asking questions in the right way is key to treating this child like someone who can talk and actually helping them be able to talk. So after you ask the child a question, you wait 5 to 7 seconds for an answer. Don't be afraid of the pause, embrace it. I like to begin with an open-ended question. What's your favorite sport? Wait 5 to 7 seconds. If there's no response, you make the question a little easier by providing some choices. A multiple choice question, always leaving the choice of other. It can be frustrating to not have the choice you actually would like to pick. What's your favorite sport? Do you like soccer, baseball, gymnastics, or something else? Wait 5 to 7 seconds. If there's no answer, continue the conversation by asking something like, do you like gymnastics? Yes or no? After 5 to 7 seconds, if the child doesn't answer, it's important to give them another opportunity. So you could say something like, and we'll come back to you. Or, could you let me know this afternoon? After we've had our snack. Always give them that chance to answer. When the child does answer, and he or she will, don't make a big deal about it. The best way to respond is, thanks for letting me know. They would be really afraid to have the response be, thank you so much for telling me. And I see that, and it's so well intended, but it scares the child. They're afraid that if they say something, the kids in the class are gonna say, look, Johnny's talking, everybody, he said something. Thanks for letting me know works perfect. Since selective mutism is an anxiety disorder, most likely the child has anxiety, social anxiety. Just like fading in a new person or place is important to do one at a time, we can break down scary things into steps. For example, when my daughter started kindergarten, she would freeze up in front of her locker when it was time to get going. It really helped to create a picture list of the different steps she needed to follow. Freezing up is a common symptom in SM, and breaking things down, reducing the stress is what helps. I feel like it's very important to get something out there to help people know about SM, what it is and what it is not. If you could share it with others, I would really appreciate it. Thanks.